Edgar Berlanga took his shot at the iconic Canelo Alvarez, but it quickly became clear the moment was too big for him. With what might be his final chance at glory slipping through his fingers, Berlanga's post-fight interview was a mix of regret and resignation. He even went so far as to apologize. Is this the end of the road for Berlanga, or just a pit stop on his way to obscurity? On Saturday night, Edgar Berlanga faced the biggest challenge of his career, going up against undisputed super middleweight champion Saul Canelo Alvarez at a packed T-Mobile Arena. Despite giving it his all, the 27-year-old suffered his first professional loss, falling to 22-1 after a hard-fought battle. This fight was a chance for Berlanga to prove himself against one of the best in the world. Throughout the fight, he managed to stand toe-to-toe with Alvarez, matching the legendary fighter's punch output. However, it was Canelo's accuracy that made the difference, with Berlanga landing just 26.7% of his punches compared to Canelo's 43.3%. Even when Canelo's power punches connected, including a sharp left hook that floored him in the third round, Berlanga refused to back down. The judges scored the fight convincingly in Alvarez's favor, 118-109 and 117-110. But Berlanga displayed grit and determination. He wasn't going to let the occasion get to him, even standing toe-to-toe with Canelo and refusing to be bullied in the later rounds. Despite absorbing significant damage, Berlanga kept coming forward. A wild missed overhand right sent him to the canvas in the 7th round, and he was warned for a headbutt in the 8th. But through it all, he kept fighting. In the end, it wasn't his night, but Berlanga didn't walk away empty-handed. He earned the respect of the champion, even telling Alvarez after the final bell that the Mexican had been his idol growing up. For Berlanga, stepping into the ring against Canelo on Mexican Independence Day was a monumental challenge. The pride Canelo took in representing Mexico was evident, and at times his frustration with Berlanga's tactics bubbled over. Still, Berlanga felt this was his opportunity to test himself against the best, even though Canelo had chosen him over the IBF's #1 challenger William Skull, a decision that cost the Mexican his IBF title. The night in Las Vegas was electric, not only because of the boxing, but also because of the UFC's debut at the Sphere, where 7 Mexican fighters made their mark just a few miles away. The stakes felt high, especially as Berlanga squared off against a legend like Canelo. But Berlanga wasn't alone in the spotlight that night. In other bouts, 41-year-old Erislandy Lara defended his WBA middleweight championship with a TKO win over Danny Garcia, ending it with a precise straight left jab in the 9th round. Caleb Plant, who fought Trevor McCombs for the interim WBA super middleweight title, had to dig deep after being knocked down in the 4th round. Plant bounced back, dominating the later rounds and finishing McCombs with a flurry that prompted a stoppage at the last second of the 9th. Rolando Romero also scored a win that night, outpointing Manuel James with a unanimous decision. For Berlanga, these fights served as a reminder of the brutal and unpredictable nature of boxing. Even though he came up short against Canelo, he knew the experience would make him stronger for future battles. From the opening bell, Berlanga tried to establish his jab, keeping pressure off himself by staying behind it. But it wasn't long before Canelo's relentless pursuit began to wear on him. In the 3rd round, Canelo landed a clean left hook that sent Berlanga crashing to the canvas. Frustrated, Berlanga pounded his gloves together and quickly got back up, determined to prove he belonged. Despite being knocked down, Berlanga managed to survive a barrage of punches, showing grit as he slowed the pace to his liking. But Canelo was already taking control. As the fight progressed into the middle rounds, Berlanga found brief moments of success, countering effectively at times. However, his prediction of a 6th-round knockout did not come to fruition. Instead, Canelo was piling on the pressure, cornering Berlanga with hooks to the body and jabs to the head. The American fighter slowed down considerably as the relentless assault from the champion began to take its toll. Even when Berlanga landed stern uppercuts and mixed up his combinations, Canelo remained unfazed. His experience shone through as he continued hunting down Berlanga, dictating the pace and keeping his opponent on the defensive. The later rounds offered no relief for Berlanga, who fought hard but struggled to keep up with Canelo's pace. In round 9, Canelo snapped Berlanga's head back with a crisp 1-2 combination. Although Berlanga retaliated, his offense couldn't match the accuracy or power of the Mexican superstar. Tensions flared in the 10th round when Canelo turned his back after a leaping hook from Berlanga, leading to a heated exchange of words. Berlanga even taunted Canelo with a crotch chop, but the gesture did little to change the momentum of the fight. As they entered the championship rounds, the sold-out crowd at T-Mobile Arena was fully behind Canelo, chanting his name as the Mexican landed heavy shots to the head and body. Berlanga, visibly tiring, still tried to stay in the fight, landing a few solid punches in round 11. However, Canelo's experience and toughness carried him through the final rounds. By the time the final bell rang, both fighters knew the score. Berlanga motioned to the crowd and was met with boos, while Canelo did the same and received cheers. Despite the outcome, Berlanga had given the fans an exciting fight. He had engaged more than many of Canelo's past opponents, refusing to back down and standing his ground against the living legend. For a fighter known for his knockout power, many believe Berlanga could be the one to truly test Canelo and perhaps shake up the super middleweight division. But from the early rounds, it was clear Berlanga was not quite meeting those expectations. Berlanga struggled to keep up with Canelo's pace, power, and relentless pressure, often finding himself on the defensive. While he had his moments, solid counters, and bursts of energy, it wasn't enough to trouble the legendary Mexican fighter. The loss marked a major setback for Berlanga. This was his first taste of defeat, and it wasn't just the loss itself that hurt. It was the way he was outclassed by Canelo that left many questioning his future. After such a high-profile defeat, it will be tough for Berlanga to land another big fight anytime soon. Promoters may hesitate to invest in him after seeing his limitations exposed on the biggest stage. There's already speculation that Berlanga might even consider retirement rather than continue climbing the mountain after such a humbling defeat. However, is this truly the end for Berlanga, or could he bounce back, learn from this experience, and come back stronger? Some believe Berlanga still has a future in the sport if he can regroup and focus on improving. Others argue that his moment has passed, and the super middleweight division is simply too competitive for him to make a comeback. It remains to be seen whether Berlanga will continue fighting or decide that his boxing journey has reached its conclusion. So what do you think? Should Berlanga keep fighting, or is it time for him to hang up the gloves? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below.